I've recently unhauled over 50 of my books and my bookshelves are in need of a big reshuffle. But I thought before we do a reshuffle, let's pull a load of books off, do another instalment of the bookshelf scavenger hunt. If you've not seen these videos before, we have 10 different prompts / questions that lead us from book to book to book. And then the final book that we end up on is the book that we will read together in this reading vlog. This is not an original idea. I first saw Ellen Catherine do it. She first saw Riley Marie do it. This time round, I have actually edited the prompts. So I used to use Ellen's prompts, whereas now I have sort of used a combination of Ellen's, Riley's, and also created a few of my own to link them together. So this is going to be the first attempt at using my own prompts. So I'm really nervous to see how this goes. So the first prompt is to find a book that you gave 5 stars to, and then find a book that has a similar colour scheme to that book. A book I gave 5 stars. I've given quite a lot of books 5 stars. What have I given 5 stars to? For the book that I've given 5 stars to, we're going to go for Happy Place by Emily Henry. So we need to find a book that's like pink, blue and yellow maybe. I feel like by doing like a split one, I've actually probably made my life quite difficult. Is it going to be another Emily Henry book? I don't really want it to be another Emily Henry book. Why is it so difficult? Do you know what? They're similar but they're not. So the book that I gave 5 stars to is Happy Place by Emily Henry. So we also have like a pink and a blue sort of colour scheme here. And the book that I'm going for that has the similar colour scheme is the Happy Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez. So this book obviously does have the pink and the blue, and it does have the yellow writing for the author, which is the same as Happy Place. A bit different shades. I mean, the pinks are pretty similar, the blues aren't, but I feel like this isn't a bad shout. And this is another 5-star read as well, so can't complain. So the next prompt is to find a book that has the same number of letters in the title as this book. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That's a long title. I feel like this is going to be a really difficult one to find because like that's actually like 15, 16, 17. Trust me to pick like the longest book. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, so I've had like a look around my shelves and I can't find a book that has 25 letters, but I found Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score, which has 24 letters in the title. But I've been looking around my shelves and I cannot find a book that has a long enough title to be 25 letters. And I think 24 is pretty close. I'm not mad at myself for that. It's as close as I physically could get on my bookshelves. So the next prompt is to find a book whose author's initials are the same as the current book. So either we want an LS if we can, but if not, an author name that begins with an L or an author surname that begins with an S, which those are pretty easy ones to do. It's whether we have any LS authors. I have got an LS author. We have The Escape Room by L.D. Smithson, so LS. We actually managed to get both letters. I think it has to be done. And we're fully switching the vibe to be going to a thriller now. So this was a really good book. This was a 4-star read. I really enjoyed The Escape Room. Okay, the next prompt is to list the tropes of the book and find a book with opposite tropes. Well, this is a thriller, so I think we're probably switching back to romance. This is Locked in an Escape Room with a Killer. Is that a trope? I don't think it is. Maybe we just need a cute, cushy little rom-com and try and stray away from any of the... This is an escape room that's in the middle of the sea, so maybe like country. I'm really clutching at things here for tropes of a thriller book. I feel like if we're going countryside, there's only one place to go, and that's Chestnut Springs. So if we're doing it, do we just go for Flawless by Elsie Silver? We are fully switching around the tropes. There is not even remote similarities. I don't know how you list the tropes of a thriller. This is kind of the closest I'm getting to it. So we're gonna have Flawless by Elsie Silver. Okay, the next prompt is to take the number of pages of this book and reverse that number of pages and find a book with that number of pages. We have 397 pages, just to show you there. Okay, so we want probably a fantasy, 793 pages. Well, I know The Boys of Tommen, but I don't really want to go to Boys of Tommen yet if I don't have to. I feel like Iron Flame's like 786. Okay, Iron Flame's not a bad shout. Court of Silver Flames? Is that like 757? So Iron Flame is longer. I feel like that's pretty good going actually. Iron Flame having 786. We needed 793. So I feel like that is pretty good going. We're only 7 pages off. Okay, our next prompt is to turn to page 100 of this book, find a word on the first line of that page, and then find that word in a book title. So page 100, I'll only read it out if it's not a spoiler. So page 100, the first line says, cocking his head and looking at me in that characteristically unreadable expression he's so fond of. I feel like head isn't going to be in any. Looking, me, I feel like that's a really bad sentence. I feel like me is the only one really to go for. I've got me, I've got consider me. I think as boring of a word as it is, I think me is going to have to be the one we go for. And for that, I'm going to go with Consider Me by Becca Mack. So we're switching back to the romance and we're going to a hockey romance. I haven't actually started this series yet and I'm very excited to. So, okay, so our next prompt is to find a book that was written in the same year as this book. First published in Australia in 2023. Right there. 2023. I feel like that should be pretty easy. I feel like this was 2023. It was indeed 2023. Okay, so we're going to go to Divine Rivals. We're going to a bit of romantasy, changing it up again. Okay, so the next prompt is to find a book that's written by one of the authors who blurbs this book, but if that isn't possible, finding a book by someone that has the same name as someone listed in the acknowledgements. So on the back we have Shelby Mahorin, who wrote Serpent and Dove. We have Adeline Grace, who wrote Belladonna. Now I do have that book. Rachel Griffin, who wrote The Nature of Witches. Isabel Ibanez, who was a finalist for an award. Ayana Gray, who wrote Beasts of Prey. And Valia Lind, who wrote The Scarlet Rose. Is that all of them? Yeah. Okay, so out of that, we're gonna go for Belladonna by Adeline Grace because that's the only one I own out of those authors. So this is Belladonna by Adeline Grace, and I am just gonna prove to you that the second one down is Adeline Grace. So the next prompt is to add my birthday and month together. Turn to that page, pick a word from the first sentence and find that in a book title. So I was born on the 3rd of November, so 3 and 11, 14. So page 14, and the first sentence says, the blade slipped through the shadows and Signa cursed. Blade. Surely blade is in a fantasy. Or shadow. I don't own Shadow and Bone, but that would have been a good one. Cursed. Surely I've got a shadow somewhere. I've not read this book that I'm going to get out, and I don't want any spoilers from it, so I'm hoping I don't get any spoilers. Some of you may be able to guess what I'm pulling out. We have Queen of Shadows by Sarah J Maas. I haven't started Throne of Glass yet. This is book 5, so I'm not even going to be looking at the back of this book because I don't want to ruin anything for me. I think that this is like the only one that I have that matches those words, so we're gonna go with it, and this is the book that's going to be picking our final book. So okay, so the final prompt and the one that's going to pick our book is to take the last letter of this title and find a book that starts with that letter. So the last letter of Queen of Shadows is S, so we're going to be reading a book that starts with an S. I should have plenty of them. Okay, we have Songlight by Moira Buffini, Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. I've got Scythe down there. We could go for Lucy Score's new book, Story of My Life. That could be fun. I feel like that is an option actually. We have Say You Swear. Now that's one I've put off for a while. Savor It by Tara Dewitt. Survive the Night by Riley Sager. We have Sugar Baby by Celine St. Clair. And I've also picked up Shark Heart by Emily Haybeck. We have 5 to pick from here. I feel like that's a nice selection. We have 2 fantasies, sort of a literary fiction. I don't know what Sugar Baby is, and a romance. I'm going between Sugar Baby and Story of My Life, I think. So this is like small town romance, which I'm actually very intrigued by, but it's a lot chunkier than Sugar Baby. I think we're going to go for Story of My Life by Lucy Score. This is about a girl that is forced to move out of her Upper East Side apartment, and she is a publisher. Oh, she's an author, she's not a publisher. And she has to try and figure out how to write again while she's got writer's block. Goes to a small town, says too bad this town looks on its last legs. At least she's finding swoon-worthy inspiration from her hot, grumpy contractor. I am so excited. I hope you guys are too. This is a new release, so that's very exciting. And I will speak to you guys when I have some updates on it. I feel like I need to just have a chat about how reading in general is going, and it is something that I'm really struggling with right now, and you'll have noticed this because I haven't uploaded a video when I'm filming this in a month, and that partially comes down to the fact that I haven't read a book in a month. And when I built my whole sort of brand around reading and books, not reading makes that very difficult to then film content. I actually started this video a month ago, well, over a month ago now, and picked out this book, and this book has taken me so long to get through. Not necessarily because it's a bad book, but because I'm just really struggling. All that being said, I have been reading The Story of My Life by Lucy Score for this video, and I'm now 467 pages in, so I'm on chapter 46, so I think I've literally got about 50 pages left of this book, and I do have thoughts on it so far. So we're following Hazel, who is a romance author, and she lives in New York City, and she is just got divorced in a massive rut in her life. Relatable. Her publishing company are waiting on another book from her, and she basically cannot do anything. She can't write, she's got no inspiration. So one day while she's researching, she finds out about this town called Story Lake, and she impulsively buys a house in Story Lake and decides just to move there. Story Lake is this really small town, and the contractor who is hired to work on the new house that she's bought is none other than Campbell Bishop, and he is the male main character in this and is the sexy contractor. A very odd story so far. I think I've really enjoyed parts of it, and other parts of it have kind of cringed me out. There's been some spice scenes where I think they were described in really interesting ways, if that's the way to put it. Not ways that I would ever typically have described spice, and it did kind of cringe me out, and it did sort of make me go, oh, no thank you. As always with Lucy Score books, I think they're too long. This book at the end is going to be over 500 pages for a romance book, and I feel like at the 350 page mark we very easily could have rounded up this story if we just cut out some of the nonsense. However, I am still enjoying it. I do like Lucy Score's writing. I've only ever read the Knock 'Em Out series by her, and I did enjoy that series. Like, it was an easy series. I think all the books in that series were 5-star. However, I read that season when they were released, so I feel like my reading taste has changed a lot, and this book 100% isn't a 5-star book, but I'm still having a good time reading it. I'm still enjoying myself. So I feel like, as of right now, I feel like it's sitting at about a 3.5 star, which isn't a bad rating, but it's just not the best rating. This is the first book in the new Story Lake series, and I do think, so far, I do want to carry on the series as they get released, and that's purely because I think we're following the 3 brothers, and I actually am really excited about them. I think I'll be finishing this today and I'll give my final thoughts on it, but I felt like I kind of owed an apology and an explanation of where I've been, what's happened, why this book has taken me over a month to read. We've officially just finished Story of My Life. I've already put it on the bookshelf. I wasn't meant to do that. I'm not going and getting it. That just seems like a lot of effort. I feel like I kind of had similar feelings towards the end as I had when I last gave you guys an update. It was very much just an easy book to read. Do I think it was anything like overly special? Not really. Like, I think it was just like a cute small town romance. It was very long. There was no need for that book to be as long as it was. But I am looking forward to seeing where the next book in the series goes, because I think we've got hints of who the next couple is going to be. I'm pretty sure it's the female main character's best friend from this book and also the male main character's brother. And I think they're going to have romance, and that makes me really excited because I did like those 2 characters as individuals. I think I have to sit and say that Lucy Score, I think, is an author for me that potentially was great when I first started getting back into reading, but now I'm a keen reader. Maybe she just doesn't suit me as a reader quite as much, but I still had fun, still had a good time. This book took me a month to read. I decided to give it a 3.5 star, which I still think is a pretty good rating. Like, it's above average and you can't really complain at that. Do you like my nails, by the way? They're very like McLaren colours, and I kind of think it's a sleigh. That is officially it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be coming back with regular content very soon. I'm going to try and pre-film a load before I start uploading again to hopefully get back on my grind, and then we'll go from there. So I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for sticking around while I've been having my moments, and I will see you guys whenever I upload another video. Bye.